In most countries, it guards the revolution. In Cuba, military became the economy. A secretive conglomerate tied to the armed forces now controls hotels, banks, supermarkets, even dollar transfers, all leading to one secretive military empire, Gaesa. Stay in a hotel in Havana, shop in a dollar store, or send money to family in Cuba, and chances are the same company is involved. In communist Cuba, much of the economy leads back to one secretive military conglomerate, Gaesa. Formerly known as Grupo de Administración Empresarial S.A., Gaesa is believed to control up to 40% of Cuba's economy. It has no public financial disclosures, no website, and even its ownership structure remains opaque. Yet it now sits at the center of negotiations between Havana and the Trump administration, which has intensified pressure on Cuba through a near-total oil blockade aimed at forcing reforms. This week, Washington imposed new sanctions directly on Gaesa and its Chief Brigadier General, Ania Guillermina Lastres Morera. Foreign firms have been given 1 month to end business ties with the group. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio previously accused Gaesa of controlling 40% of Cuba's GDP while spreading revenues outside normal state accounts.
Let me clarify something for you. Our sanctions are against a company named Gaesa.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a holding company set up by generals in Cuba that has generated billions of dollars of revenue, none of which benefits the Cuban people. Not 1 cent of it benefits the Cuban people. You understand this, right? I don't know if you know this. There's the Cuban government, and they have a budget, and then there's this private company that has more money than the government does. None of the money in that company goes to build a single road, a single bridge, provide a single grain of rice to a single Cuban, other than the people that are part of Gaesa. So that's what we're sanctioning, is a company that basically is taking anything that makes money in Cuba and illegally putting it into the pockets of a few regime insiders. So that's not sanctions on the Cuban people, because the Cuban people don't benefit from Gaesa. It's a sanction against this company that is stealing from the Cuban people to the benefit of a few. And we didn't discuss those sanctions yesterday, but we imposed them yesterday, and we're going to be doing more, by the way.
Gaesa emerged after the Soviet collapse, when Cuba opened to tourism for survival. Military-owned coastal properties became hotels, and under Raúl Castro, the conglomerate expanded rapidly. Today, it controls major hotels, supermarkets, gas stations, a commercial bank, a container port, and a special economic zone. Leaked documents cited by the Miami Herald suggested the group earned $2.1 billion in profit in the first quarter of 2024 alone. The secrecy surrounding Gaesa is extraordinary. In 2024, Cuba's Comptroller General admitted her office could not audit the company. She reportedly lost her position soon after. Its political ties also run deep. A former Gaesa chief was both a military general and Raúl Castro's son-in-law. Cuba's current prime minister once headed its hotel division. Meanwhile, the Cuban negotiator now engaging with Washington is the son of that former Gaesa chief and is believed to maintain close links to the company's leadership. Economist Pavel Vidal argues meaningful reform is impossible without dismantling Gaesa's structures, something Cuba's leadership is unlikely to accept.
We will not be able to implement any meaningful reform of the economy if we do not dismantle the structures of Gaesa. But of course, because of its financial and political power, this is the last thing that the Cuban government would like to address in a negotiation.
Meanwhile, Cuba suffers chronic blackouts after years of prioritizing tourism investment, much of it linked to Gaesa, over energy infrastructure. Analysts say any serious economic reform in Cuba would require confronting Gaesa's enormous political and financial power.
павших при выполнении интернационального долга на нашей Родине. Это выражение самой справедливой признательности.
Revolucionarias, jefe del Estado Mayor General. El de Trovis Barchuk, embajador de la República de Belarus en Cuba. El ex...
МВД, руководители партии и правительства, а также представители...